Right. So it's going to be fairly interactive. I'll talk a little bit, and then we'll sort of talk, and then we'll talk a little bit, and like that sort of thing. At any time, to ask anything. It doesn't even have to be about happiness. So fun is important. Richard Branson. Obviously, you have to quote Mr. Jobs. He has a million, so yeah. You have to love what you do. And that's an important point. You want to wake up and think, I really want to go to work. Most days, at least. So what we're going to talk about is what is happiness at work? How happy are you? We have a little quiz on this. So you can get a little score that says, very happy, yeah, or oh dear. And because that can be enlightening, we don't always ask these kinds of questions of ourselves, and so that can be helpful. Why does all this matter, and what can you do about it, both for yourself and for your company? This is me as Umbraco man. Yeah, you just got to be silly sometimes. I do Umbraco training. I run Percipient Studios. That's a one-person company. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? I'm starting with this happiness stuff. I'm starting out as the happy preacher, so you'll hopefully start seeing more of that coming along, because I want to share the message of happiness at work as a thing. And I take photos. But mostly, this probably is closer. I want to encourage you, and I tell stories. That's what I do. I can't not do it. So all of the stuff about happiness is based on science, and so it's not just la-di-da. It's like, oh, it's all emotions and feelings. Isn't that wonderful? We feel great, group hug, and then we're done. It's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the group hug, but no, we're not going to do it. So there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what this is based on. This is based on actual facts and tests and repeated tests and all that kind of stuff. So just taking a peek at sort of the happiness survey. Obviously, in Denmark, in the far end, they just live out there somehow. We're not jealous or bitter. Yes, we are. But Germany's doing, well, not bad, but not spectacularly, as an average. So, yeah, we're Spain. Spain is right there with Germany. Just a little bit better. So you moved in the wrong direction. Yeah. Anyway, so what is happiness at work? Happiness just generally is, are you ready for this? It's not a job satisfaction survey. This is what everybody does. We've sent out a survey to all the employees to make sure that they're happy. And so, you start answering questions about, are you happy at work? And it turns out it's useless information. The statistics don't actually mean anything because it's not actually correlated. What you think about work and your happiness and how you feel about your happiness are completely different. So all these things, this is what management consultants come in and say, we're gonna do motivation, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And does it really make a big difference? Not really. It's just a little bit. What makes a big difference is how people feel about what they're doing. And that comes from, but there's still science to back it up, but it comes from doing good work with good people that means something. That's the big thing. So, what you want is more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. But if you think about how your last week is gone, have you felt indifference, anger, sorrow, fear? Well, I was afraid that today wasn't going to work. I was afraid something wouldn't show up. I was afraid that something would alight in flames. Someone would fall down, the doors would open, the elevator wouldn't be there, and that right down the shaft. It doesn't have to be like a real fear, like a rational, makes sense. It's still there. It's still real. The feeling is real. And you can get it from your boss, like where did that fear come from? If you screw this up, if this deploy doesn't go well, if the client is not happy, what, this is my problem? Well, yeah, a bit. Yes, I want them to be happy. I want them to be satisfied. I want this to be good work. It doesn't always happen, let's be honest. Mistakes happen. But if this is like you're judging me and my value and my worth because of that, this is not a happy situation. You're just not in a good place in that kind of environment. And some management technique is around, I'm going to be difficult so that they would say something like, I want you to be the very best you can be, which means you never make a mistake. Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I never make a mistake. Okay, I make mistakes all the time. Maybe you're better than that. But you have to be perfect. You have to be, well, what time did you go home at the end of the day? Well, I went home so I could have dinner with my kids and put them in bed, because that's important to me. I went to have a date with my, would-be spouse. I left. That's a good thing. I have a life, you see. It's not only work, it's all these things. So we want more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. And most of psychology through the ages has been all about the bad stuff. So if you ask someone, what is fear? You'd have no doubt that we can identify what is fear. We can identify anxiety. We can identify all these things. Say, what is happiness? Oh, well, that's just, wishy-washy stuff. No, it isn't. It's just the other side. It's the positive side. Like, instead of talking about what's wrong with us, let's talk about what's right with us. And that's the idea. So it does turn out that while the job surveys of your satisfaction are basically meaningless, if you are, in fact, happy at your work, then that leads to being satisfied. Being satisfied with your job, yes, I make enough money and it doesn't actually hurt me physically. And I'm satisfied, I guess. But if you're happy, then these other things come along, but don't put the cart and the horse in the wrong direction, is the big idea. So, how happy are you? Time for a pop quiz. So, have one and pass along. And it's 10 questions, not difficult. You don't have to mark it off. And here, have some for yourself. You're all right. So when you're done ticking them off, the first answer is 2 points, the second answer is 1 point, and the third answer is no points. And then just count up what you're total. It's not hugely scientific, this particular survey, but it'll give you a feel of sort of, how things have been. And since it's only for the last week, this is the kind of thing you could do next month. And, it's kind of like watching your weight. You could check every day, or you could just check every week, or, it's close enough. But just get a feel, because not every week is really fantastic. You're looking for the trends, what's going on most of the time.
Yeah. Don't check only at that.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Don't wait forever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As you're hit by a car and you think, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, I got to do that survey. It's a bit late then. Yeah.
Except you always do it first.
Yeah.
I had a good one.
Excellent. Okay, so as I say, 2 points, 1 point, no points. So if you're in the 14 to 20 point range, well done. You're happy at work. And one of the things about being happy at work is take the time to notice. What is it that you love about this job that is not like other jobs you've had? Why is it so good? And then really become jealous and guarded about that. As new people come in, help them to understand this is who we are and what we do and why we are the way we are. And we're not like every other place. In the Umbraco community, this totally happens in the forums. When people are grumpy, they get the best possible response. Someone says, oh, I hate Umbraco, it's terrible, it's the worst thing I've ever seen, it makes my eyes bleed, that sort of stuff. And you just think, wow, it should not be like that. How can I help? That's fantastic. That's part of the Umbraco community, is to be that way. It's never, oh, well, we hate you anyway, you're probably a PHP user or something. It's not like that. It's not, this isn't, so isn't Stack Overflow. I'm so sorry, you didn't ask the question in the proper format. So, if I knew how to ask the question, I probably would know the answer, And so, that's part of what makes the Umbraco community so special, and we guard that passionately. So if I were to have a really bad day and get really grumpy with somebody, people would talk to me and say, Doug, you need a holiday. You just step away from the computer, because I'm part of the family, and you can talk to me that way. But to the stranger who's really being grumpy, you say, hey, wait, it shouldn't be like that. Can I help? That's part of what is the Umbraco thing, and that's really important. If that were to change, that would be difficult. So if you're one of the happy ones, look at what it is that makes you happy, what it is about your place of work that is so special, and then guard that and cherish it and grow it. If you're in the, Well, yeah, that's kind of tough. It probably should be better. Could it be better? Could you do more in that? And we'll talk more about what can be done, both if you are just an individual in the company or if you're a leader in the company. Both of those places are places that changes can be made. If you're unhappy, I don't want to show of hands just in case anybody is unhappy, but if you're unhappy, this is a time to think about a career change, or at least a job change. Like, don't be miserable. Life is too short. Just don't. Go find someplace that actually cares for you and values you and likes the work you do, and you look forward to being there with them. You know? Unemployment for a while is not that bad compared to that every day. Okay. So, anybody can be happy at work. And you're thinking, oh yeah, but there are those jobs. Are you kidding? No, I'm not kidding. So, there's a company in America, and they have a workforce that is hugely happy. And what do? They go around to people's houses and clean up the dog mess that's in the garden, in the yard, on the grass. That's their job. What do? I'm a pooper scooper. That's what I do. And you like this? It's very important work. Their clients are mostly old people who can't get around very well, and the spouse has died, and they're alone, except for their pet, the dog or the cat, and that pet is life to them. But they can't go out and bend over and, so these people go out and do it for them. It's their job. How cool is that? That's an awesome job. I mean, that's of value to people. It's meaningful work, not just work. And that's one of the things that makes us happy, is like, am I doing something important? I'm curing cancer. Okay, I'm just building websites. But but it could be a really awesome website. I mean, not just is it visually good and is the work itself like, they're never going to realize just how awesome it is, underneath. But it is. But they will appreciate the things that they can see. And you've done a really good job. And they said, thank you. That was good work. Thanks. That's meaningful work. That's good. So, the head guy at IKEA, he's quite a character. It's not uncommon for him to just walk into stores around the world and not let people know he's coming. And, I mean, he's an old guy. He's pretty nondescript. You could miss him. And he'll just walk up to people and start talking to you. And it's like, you are friends from day one. But he wants to hear what you've got to say so that he can change things and make it better. Are you being supported? Is there anything we can do to make it better? Just whatever you say, I'm listening. It's not an open door policy. He goes to see you. That's awesome. Anyway, so without fun, work is hell. Yeah, maybe that resonates with you and a little bit. So thinking about what makes you happy at work. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're good. So you got anything that comes to mind? Like, what makes you happy at work? Your colleagues, what about them?
It's a very nice atmosphere at work where we get very well along with each other.
You get along? Yes. Yeah.
So that's a very important aspect of your work.
It is. I've changed jobs a few times over the years, and one of the hardest things about leaving a job I've found is I'm leaving the people. I might be leaving a lousy situation. I mean, the boss could be just a terror, and the work is terrible, and it's miserable, but I still like the people I work with. And it's like, I'm going to leave my friends. That part is vital to actually have that. So this morning when we did the level 5 good morning, probably your colleagues don't go and completely ignore you as though you're not there. They will talk to you. They will look at you. They will, be part of what's going on in your life. Hey, how are you? Did you have a good weekend? And that's huge. Anything else come to mind as to things that make you happy at work?
Well, the satisfaction when you get something done which was rather challenging, complicated, and it finally pays off the work you put in, and you see it run like you intend to, so something like that.
And then do you go and tell other people and say, look what I just did?
Usually I'm not bragging about it, but
I don't mean bragging. I mean like, come on, this is good stuff, and then you get the high five, like, nice job. Yeah. Does the bowl of fruit, it's fresh fruit, it's organic, does that really help? Does that make you happy? Lots of people seem to think it does. I don't. I mean, like, lots of people, not like people, but like management people, leaders, you know. I read a magazine article that said this is important to take care of your people, so we'll give you fresh fruit. So give them a pay rise, let them bring their own. I don't know. It just, if that doesn't seem like quite enough to me somehow. You know, you get a 4 hours of work on anything you want once a month, because that seems to work for Google, so it must work for us. It must be great. But you have to work on stuff that actually is really your work. Where's the freedom in that? You know, where was the support? Where was the, well, to do this thing that I'm thinking about, I was thinking about making a video, but then we're going to need some software and might need a camera and some other stuff. And you go and you say, could we do that? And they say, no, we're not spending any money on it. No support. And that's terrible. I mean, it's like, we have a good idea, but then we just cut it off at the knees so that it's never going to go anywhere. And lots of companies, sadly, work that way. They don't really think of, what's it like to work for us? It's all top down. Well, it's good for me. I've got a nice office and reserved parking, and you get to park. You can take the bus. That kind of stuff, sadly, does happen. So, good results are fantastic. When you have the resources to do it, the slow computer, let me give you a fast computer. You know, maybe not the best, but I mean, adequate to your needs. You have the autonomy. So if I ask you to do something, you know, could you, I don't know, make a poster for our event? What are the chances that you're going to design the poster that is exactly the one I have in my mind? 0. And is that okay? Yes, it ought to be. That's autonomy. I've given you a task. It's yours. You do it your way. It seems simple, but if someone asks you to do something, the result is going to be what you want to do, not what they wanted you to do. Otherwise, it's micromanagement, isn't it? So, I want you to design this thing. I think we should have the logo here in this color, and then it should probably be about that big. And when you're done designing it, come and run it by me just to make sure that it's good enough. And why didn't they just do it themselves? So having the resources, having the authority to do the work, I mean, this is why we hired you, right? Because you're good at what you do. So let me just, here you go. I'll give you the resources. It should be meaningful work. You should get some feedback. You did a really great job on that. You know, that poster was good. I liked it, but if you're colorblind, it doesn't really work. Ooh, I hadn't thought about colorblind. Well, now you know. The next time we do it, we'll pay more attention to that. Fine. And so you're being helped along the way to get better and better. And if the color, I'm just making this up, if the colorblind thing was really important, then it's the boss's job to tell you before you do it, not afterwards. You know, it's not for you to, like, you know, color blindness, because he is, this is why it's important. You're never going to know. So if you are assigning tasks to someone else, please tell them everything they need to know. And then give them good feedback. Hey. So there's a fantastic book called The Progress Principle. And there's an article in the Harvard Business Review. So of all the things you can do to boost emotions, motivation, perceptions during a workday, the single most important, make progress in meaningful work. Not just, you know, poopers, scoopers are, in the right context, that's a meaningful job. In other contexts, that's not a meaningful job. So even a small win makes a big difference. I didn't finish the whole project, but I got this one thing done. Does that happen to you? I have these days where it's like I got to clean the desk because it's been stacking up. I've been busy. I haven't been taking care of things, and then I can't work like this. I just got to clean the desk. I'm a little kind of like that, you know. But you know, not everybody's a dirty desk is fine. But it's just, and then it's got to be cleaned, and then okay, good. I've done that. Now we can get to work. Everybody's a little different about, you know, sort of what it is that makes them ready to work, or what sort of gets them stopped and backed up. So even those little things, yeah, it was a little thing, but now I'm feeling ready. So in addition to having good results, doing the good work, having good people to work with is amazing. They should be caring, like, they talk to you. What's going on in your life? Not necessarily everybody, but in general, you feel like there are people there that understand you, that you can be honest with, and that are friendly, that are supportive, that will be honest with you. Doug, please don't write that kind of a response to a forum post again. If that's what I need to hear, then I hope somebody would tell me. Hopefully in a kind way, not with a stick, but in a kind way, saying that's not what we would expect. That's not who you've been. Is there something going on? Can we help? And maybe some tragedies happened in my life, but I didn't feel I could tell anybody. But if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And you say, wow, you got stuff to take care of. You go. We'll take care of everything else here. That's supportive. That would be great. It doesn't happen very often in people's lives that you have these kinds of crises, but when it happens, it'd be nice if work could help in some way. So, so results and relationships, they go together. The better the results, the more you're more likely to come around and say, I just did this really awesome thing, and it was fantastic, and someone's going to say, because you have some relationships, way to go, high five, you rock. That would be great. So while we're at it, let's think about the other side, just in case you were not at the ultra happiness on the survey. Some of the things historically that make people unhappy is mostly when things are unfair, but it's not what you would expect. You'd think that the salary, your bonuses, the perks, that this would make me happy. This is the bowl of fruit. It's nice to have a bowl of fruit, nothing wrong with that, but does it make me happy? No. I could buy just fine without the bowl of fruit. If I knew I was doing good work with good people, that would be much more important. But this is where, but is your chair comfortable enough? Well, yeah, if it's hurting me, if I get up and I got a backache, then I could use a better chair. But I don't need the Herman Miller Aeron chair. I wouldn't mind one, but I don't need one. It's not really the physical environment. As long as it's sort of good enough, it's good enough. But this is the stuff that lots of people focus on. And so what happens is you think, if we take care of all of this, we'll be happy. Actually, what happens is if you don't take care of this stuff, you'll be unhappy, especially if you think it isn't fair. Well, how come they get the nice chair? I know that they're getting paid way more than I am, and we're doing the same job. Any of these things that are not fair make you unhappy, but they can't make you happy. They can only pull you down. So what else pulls you down? Well, the bullying, rumors, coworkers who complain. My boss is a classic. Fear of losing my job, being too busy. I'm bored. Large changes in the workplace. Now that might be business has declined and we're going to have to let people go, or it could simply be business is going like crazy and we're hiring so many people that now you're just thinking, this is not the company that I used to know because it's changing too quickly. So change, just in either direction. A bad mood, lack of praise, the job's too easy. It's too hard, and I'm not getting any help. Dissatisfied users, I thought I was doing a great job. I showed it to them, and they were like, hopefully, yeah, I've had that. Negative colleagues, dissatisfaction with salary, the bonuses. I know it's not right, it's not fair. A lack of perks. So again, it's not so much that it makes you happy, but it can make you unhappy. No help from your coworkers, no help from your manager. Unclear routine policies, and you only find out when you do it wrong. Just a bad physical work environment. So if you were to pick three, the top three, complainers is huge. It's like an emotional suckhole in the business. People who complain. You're being too busy is a big one. And people that don't say thanks. That was nice. You did well. Those are the three biggies. So let's just take a quick look at those. Complaining. There are people who complain to everybody except somebody who can do something about it. Everybody knows that they're unhappy except their boss, who might be able to do something about it. Honestly, it's a killer. On the other hand, you could do constructive complaining. There's nothing wrong with saying, this is no good. We're not doing well enough. We need to be better. This makes me unhappy. My chair is killing me. Whatever it is, it's okay to be honest, but do it in a helpful way. So find places where, people that can help and be positive, when you can. Busyness, well, okay, so, child labor, that was always great, back in the Industrial Revolution. And they just work. You ever feel like that? Too many hours, too many days in a row? So it turns out that why do we work roughly 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and we don't work more hours or more days? Is because of the Industrial Revolution. It turns out that after about that many hours in a day, you start putting things into the machinery like your hands, and that actually slows production down. I mean, it wasn't because they cared about the employees. It's because it stopped the machinery when people would hurt themselves. And that was more expensive than just letting them leave. So 8 hours came from this kind of work. It wasn't because they were like being nice. But creative work is not like factory work. So creative work, I'm a creative. If you saw my drawing skills, you'd know I'm not. I'm pretty good with a straight line, and that's about it. So would I be creative? Well, I write a little bit. I do photographs, some. I do some coding. All of these things are creative. You have to think a new thought in a new way and put it together in a way that even if other people have done it, it's the first time you've done it. You're going to build a house. You're going to build whatever. This is all creative work. There's very little today that we do that is factory work. It's the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again. And oh, look, we ran out of some thread on one of the bobbins, so we're going to go change that. And it keeps going on. That's factory work. And that kind of work you can do 8 hours a day. But it turns out that creative work is not that way. So how many hours a week? 40 hours a week, you can largely maintain that. Now, this isn't so much for creative work. Creative work would be about 6 hours a week, 6 hours a day, that is. 6 hours a day is about where you're going to stop. I mean, you can be at the office, but have you ever gone home and said, I could have left at lunch and gotten as much done? You could have, right? I mean, your brain was done. It was over. So you're just sitting there waiting for someone to come by so you can talk to them and complain, but I don't know. So anyway, but even factory work, 40 hours a week. But if you do more, you can do it for a while. There's a big push, right? It's Christmas and we've really got to get this done, and or work at the shop or whatever it is we've got to do, and you can do it for a while. But it turns out that if you want to do 60 hours a week, after about a month of that, your productivity declines well below what it would have been if you'd just gone home earlier. And creative work, it goes even lower. And so when you see the differences between countries and how much do people work, and I don't know, France or something, how many hours a day can you work in France? I swear it's a handful. But they're still getting plenty done. They're just really focused. I'm here and there's only a couple of hours, I better do it now. There's no I think I'll check Twitter and Facebook and we just waste a lot of time to pad the hours. Our actual productive work is really not that massive. So be careful of busyness and over busyness, because it's a lie that we can just do this. We can just, it's a lie. So you can, however, be really busy and still be happy. So because I'm storytelling too much, so I'll tell another story and we'll move on. But maybe you can think of a time when you were really busy, and yet it was actually really fun. It was really good. Possibly for some of you today is that moment when you think, I've been crazy busy, but the festival has really worked out. And that's awesome. It was a ton of work, but it was really good. So there was a insurance company in Denmark that, I forget exactly what, there's a humongous storm and like hurricane kind of thing, and just they were getting calls all the time from people who had lost their house, lost all their stuff, were in physical need, and so you call your insurance company and say, hey, help. And they couldn't handle the volume of calls coming. And so they decided, okay, everybody, even the accountant, everybody is answering the phone. And the best thing we can do is to take care of these people now. To tell them call back next week, or we'll call you back next week, that's not okay. We're going to take it right now. And if anybody can work extra hours, please do. And they got through all of them in 3 days. That's amazing. That was huge service. But what a push. They were there. Like, people were bringing in, like, okay, so you're all here. I'm going to go get dinner for everybody. And then someone comes in and brings you dinner. And then, okay, who needs coffee? And you take care of each other, even in a busy time. So this kind of stuff happens. You can be crazy busy, and it still can be okay. You need praise, because if you don't get it, what do I care? I mean, nobody cares. I did this amazing job, but I don't want to brag. Is it bragging to say I did a good job?
Depends on the situation.
Yeah? I think it depends on how you say it. That's what I think. I appreciate there can be a cultural difference. I'm an American. Bragging is what we do. Did I say that out loud? I did. But even so, to say, I did something really good. I did something that hasn't been done. You wanted it, and look at this. Come on, this is good. I've taken some photos these last couple of days that I'm seriously pleased with. You might like them too, But I'm going to say, I like that one. That one's, for me, that one's fantastic. So one of the things about this is you don't necessarily have to say, woohoo, I'm the greatest photographer ever. All in caps, periods between the words, It doesn't have to be like that. But you do want to let people be able to see it. So you mention it. I finished that project. I think it came out really well. I'm really pleased with some of the photos I've done. But if I said that and you couldn't see it, so I'll get some praise if I actually put them online and say, I'm pleased with some of these. Have a look. And if somebody looks and say, that's a really great photo. Now, it might not have been the one I was thinking of. That's okay. I still get some praise, some, hey, thanks, nice job. And I'm feeling a little better. I'm more motivated to, let's keep going. And I'll get better and better and better. Praise is huge. If you're not getting praise at work, it might be because you're not letting anybody know. Just mention it. But why does it matter, of course? Well, because it's good for you to be happy. Is it good for you to be miserable? Let's start with the opposite. No. What happens when you're miserable? You have a heart attack. You have a nervous breakdown. You are absent. I'm not going to be in today because I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm feeling very poorly. I have something in my eye and I can't see myself coming to work today. You'll come up with a story to avoid the miserable thing that's making you, truly can make you very sick. A lot of strokes and heart attacks and things like that. It's from the stress and the anxiety and the worries and the fear and all of that. So happiness is actually good for you. It turns out it's actually really good for you. You'll have more time in your life to do the things that are important to you, spending time with your family and friends and all of that. There's a fantastic book called, I think I may have mentioned this the last time I was here, called The Regrets of the Dying. And it was written by a nurse who did palliative care. So if you've got 3 months left to live or less, and then she'll be a nurse for you. If you've got a long time to live, a long time, more than 3 months. She only does with people who are going to die soon. And she made notes of what people would just talk about and saying, now that I'm at the end, I really wish I had.
What's the book called again?
Regrets of the Dying. And it's actually an uplifting book in spite of the title. And it turns out that there were 5 regrets that were just so common. It didn't matter whether you were rich or poor, whether you were educated or not. It didn't matter anything. They were so common. And the very first one is, I wish I had the courage to live the life I wanted instead of the life other people wanted for me. And, I think of some of the things I've done, and I think, yeah, I do that because other people think I ought to. Because I want to look impressive, and so this is what I ought to do. No, just be honest and be open. Another one was, I should have spent, I should have spent more time with my family and friends. That seems really obvious, except I'll get to it next week. I can't come to your birthday party because I've got to do some stuff at work. I can't this because, and pretty soon your kids have grown and your friends have moved away, and They're not really your friends anymore because you don't know them. And this is really common. So the book is really uplifting because it sort of is like a mirror on, is this you? And because it's so common, yes, it is you. It's me too. And so you've still got time. Make a change. You can do that. So you've got time. Your health is, you will live longer if you're happy. Seriously, like years longer. Obviously, bad health can cut your life. Bad health can cut your life short, and being happy it adds a couple of years to your life. Which just seems kind of silly, but that's all right. I like that. You're more successful. You'll make more money for your business. You'll be more creative, more productive, more service-oriented, more likable. That's always nice. More resilient. You're going to be more optimistic. You'll be a better leader for others. Everything is sort of better. I know that sounds very wishy-washy, but all this stuff, there's science for all these. Well, is this true? Well, let's run some examples and some tests and see what happens with the experiment, and then we'll try it again somewhere else. Because maybe this only happens in Denmark. Because they're just kind of goofy, sort of happy anyway. I don't know what it is. And then, and so we'll try it in somewhere else where they're notoriously not happy. Oh, it turns out it's the same way. Fantastic. So all these things are great. If this is the kind of stuff that you'd like more of, then we'll think about how you can move in that direction. So is anybody sort of business owner or manager, you're worried about the money of the company? Okay, well, I'll just mention in passing when you're talking to the boss about how you'd like to have, something. Happy people make more money for the company. So it's good business to have happy people. There's money to invest in the people from the business. So happy employees give much better service to the client. Much better. You ever had a grumpy email back to, I bought this product and it broke. And what's the difference in that response? It shouldn't have done that. Let me send you a new one. Wouldn't that be great? That probably wasn't a grumpy employee. I was probably a happy employee. I like working this place because they let me make these decisions to just take care of people. That would be great. I was at a trade show recently, was getting a snack, so I had to go and pay. And the person in front of me said, I was overcharged for, I don't know, my coffee or something. It was like a pound. It was €1 worth. It was nothing. You would kind of hope that whoever was at the money machine would say, I'm so sorry, and just, here you go, and just take care of it. But no. Well, let me go get my manager. And so they left the machine to go find somebody that they couldn't find. Apparently, it took quite a while. People are waiting and waiting. More people are waiting. Finally, the manager comes back, and it's like, very important conference over here on the side. Well, let me see that, sir. And, as well, I can give you a credit, but I can't give you money. And, how does the employee feel about, I'm here to help people. I'm here to be a service to these people on behalf of my company, this restaurant thing, and they don't let me. That's not a happy place. So a manager had to get called in who, I guess, makes more money, takes more time, that could have been doing something else, all for €1, £1. Ridiculous. They spent a fortune on that savings of £1. So anyway, a happy employee has good service, which makes happy customers, which people will tell you. I just had the most amazing service from these people. It broke, and they said, here, have another one. I'm so sorry. Would you want me to send it back? No, it's busted. Just throw it away. It's fine. That's fantastic. And those customers become really loyal. They will come to you again and again and again, and that drives your profit and growth. But lots of businesses are just like, we need to make more money. Yeah, how are you going to do that? We're going to charge more. We're going to make better products. Yeah, but it's actually about the people. That's where the money comes. So don't get it in the wrong order, because it doesn't really work. But lots of companies do. And it turns out, if you think I'm making this up, if you look at the average stock prices over the years of companies, so Standard & Poor's and Russell 3000, they track pretty together. But if you look at Fortune magazine's 100 best companies to work for, and you track them, happy companies make way more money. Way more. So That's good. Maybe that Aeron cherry is coming my way. I don't know. So if you're thinking, how would I do something about this? As I say, there's sort of the personal, like what is it about me? And then if you have any position of management or leadership or have any influence on those people, then there's sort of another whole thing about that. So you might think that integrity, respect, communication, and excellence would be the hallmark, the byword, the watchword. This is Enron, actually. That was their slogan. You may remember Enron, the world's biggest fraud. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they lied about their accounting for years. And integrity, respect, communication, excellence. They were really, really good about not communicating their fraud until they got found out. So it's not just the words; it's like the reality. What's really going on? So Zappos, they make they do shoes online, and you order the shoes, and you say it's the wrong size because of course every shoe is like it's a little bit bigger or smaller depending on the brand, and it wasn't wide enough, or I thought the brown was going to be a little darker, and send it back, and we'll send you another pair. And if anytime they feel like it, we'll pay you to send it back. Here, that's free. In fact, we'll give you some extra money just because. And who makes those decisions? The employees do. They don't have to get approval. If this is going to make somebody happy, and that's going to make them a better customer, you may. Just take care of it. Make them awesome. So deliver wow through service is their number one thing. This is our job, is to be of service to other people and to make them really happy. I love this. Create fun and a little bit of weirdness. They are rather a quirky little place. They totally are. But, do more with less. They've got one big open space. It's not really that pretty as an office. But the people are great, and they're doing awesome stuff, and they say it's good enough. It's fine. So it's not like we've got the best of everything. It's good enough. We're fine. So anyway, and be humble, It's not all about you, which is nice. It's about other people. So that's nice. So your number one factor, just for what it's worth, if you're unhappy at work, I'm going to take a guess, it's your boss. It almost always is. Maybe you can outlast the boss. I'm going to stay until they leave. And that can work. But then again, you just might be miserable for 5 years. Maybe you should just change your job. You have to think about that. So managers account for at least 70% of what makes happy places and unhappy places. It's a huge difference. So if you have any ability to guide other people, to be on a team with them, to work with them on projects, even if you're not the leader, think about how you're interacting with each other, because your tone will set their tone. But I'm not really sort of a leader. I'm the quiet one. You have so much power, so much influence with people that you meet. I'm meeting you today. You're meeting, you go shopping for your groceries. Someone's taking the money. You've got 2 minutes with that person. You could make their day better. Hey, how are you? And you look at their name tag and you call them by name. And they think, that's the only person who called me by my name today. That's special. It doesn't take a lot. Just think about it. You've got power and influence way beyond what you're what you're practicing. Find places to do this stuff. So, bad management, fear, and stress are the biggies. I'm scared of losing my job if I do a bad job. How creative are you going to be? If I want you to do this really amazing work for us, so think outside the box, but don't fail, because if you do, you're fired. Yeah, I'm going to be really creative. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to do the most amazing thing ever. Suddenly it's like, running an Apple advert backwards. It's said in American country music, it's almost always sort of country music in America. My dog died, my pickup truck stopped working, my wife left me, and I don't know, I'm about to die from drinking too much, But if back in the days of vinyl albums, if you were to play it backwards, everything gets better, because I'm feeling better, my wife is back, my pickup truck is running, and my dog's with me. You just play it backwards, everything gets better. And it's kind of like that, with management. If you're scared of being successful because there's a chance you might not be, then you just won't be. You won't take the chance. So create an environment where it's okay to fail. Because if you can't fail, you'll never win. Because creativity and creative work is about doing something you've never done before, by definition. So the chances you'll always succeed, not great. But that's okay. Why would I expect you to succeed every time? I want you to succeed. I'll help you to. How can I give you the resources? What else do you need to know? Can I send you to some training? Do you need a book? Do you need to get a video? Just like, I just need to walk on the beach if I'm going to get, some idea of how we're going to do this marketing campaign because it's just too loud here in the office. You're in an office by yourself. It's too loud. Okay, fine. Go walk. If whatever it takes, just go do it. It's okay. Because I want to help you to succeed. That's like leadership and management and I'm going to get out of your way because it's your job. If you need anything, let me know. And if you don't let me know, I'll ask from time to time, how's it going? Anything I can do? No, we're good. Great. That's supportive. That's helpful. So, if you're a leader, be happy yourself and help other people be happy. So, remember that happiness is something you do. We'll sort of close on this note. It's not about thinking about it. Yes, it's a feeling, but it is still something you do. Happiness at work and in life generally is something you can work on. So you can do things and you can also stop doing things. So first and foremost, make sure that there's some meaning in what you're doing. Just being busy, it's good work. Is it really? Like meaningful work. Where's the meaning? That's important. Be sure to let people know what you get done. So don't just focus on so much on what you didn't get done. If you're a to-do list person, how big is that to-do list? Oh, at this point it's grown to about 3,000 items. It's like your inbox. My goal is to get down to 0. Is it really? Because you got like 50 million items in that inbox. You're never going to make it unless you just delete them all and start fresh, which is not necessarily a bad idea. But focus on what you did get done rather than all the things you didn't get done. As soon as you cross something off on the to-do list, it goes away and, oh, look, there's only 299 to go. Wouldn't it be great if it said, and you got this done today, well done. I know you still got 299, you know you got 299, but don't forget it instantly when you get it done. This is a good thing. I got it done. You get home at the end of the day, honey, how was your day? I got something done. And on a good day, I got 2 things done, whatever it takes, it's just, focus on what you get done. So, and avoid the negative behavior. Take time out for yourself, I'm going to go get some coffee. I'm going to go walk around. And that's got to be okay. Like, how many times have you had this moment in the shower the next morning? I know the solution. Because you stepped away from what you were doing. I think that's a good thing. Take some time for yourself, whatever that is, yoga, meditation, whatever. Take some time for yourself. Like, go work out. Praise other people too. That's huge. Celebrate the victories, whether it's a little one or a huge one. So hopefully there's going to be like cake at bite 5 for, it's like, we did an awesome job because you did. This is a fantastic event. Really excellent, first class, start to finish. So I hope that you hear that and like you'll just kind of be buzzing around. Like, we've done good stuff, because you have. And we all do that kind of stuff. Look for other ways to help just sort of a little something, Leave them a note, a sticky note on their monitor. Hey, it's nice working with you. You don't even have to sign it. Because maybe that's a little weird, It's like, oh, he said to her, I wonder if he likes her. But he's married. Yeah, okay, look, it's anonymous. I like working with you. Fine. And you walk in, you go to your desk, and it's like, this is good. It's just little stuff, Bring brownies, whatever it is. Keep moving around. So I think you were saying you started yoga. Yeah, keep moving. That's good for you. And at the end of the day, try and think back. Like, don't finish your day on a low. Think about, there must have been something good today. Try and think of 3 things that were good. Forget the crappy stuff. Life is too short to focus on that. Focus on the good stuff. But because our brains are wired more for like negative stuff than positive stuff, I don't know why it is. But it's like, I had a really great day. My kids are like this all the time. So Joseph, how was your day today at school? It was terrible. What happened? We didn't have long enough to play. Yeah, but how was the rest of the day? Oh, that was great. But his first response was, it was a terrible day. Because of this little, one thing, when all this other stuff was great. We tend to focus more on the negative stuff than the positive. So try and fight that deliberately. Like, what was some good stuff that happened today? And let that be how you finish the day. And most importantly, this is your task. It's nice to listen to some ideas, to get some, coaching, to, whatever. But it's up to you. You are the change that you want to see. And you have to do it. So do it. You can. Whether it's a little thing, the good mornings. Companies have changed from the high fives and the good mornings. Because somebody starts with, good morning, how are you? How was your weekend? With a smile, with looking at your eyes and actually asking questions and being nice. And, it might even be a sort of a, nice to see you. Not a slap. No, it wasn't that. But, just, and people are like, well, who's that crazy person? But after a while, more people are doing it. And after a while, more people are doing it. And then, you know what? This is a good thing. And it can grow. So even starting at the bottom, the lowest of the low, if you feel that way, you're not. You, just like, the checkout person at the grocery store, you have power to influence people. Exercise it. Do something with it. So that's it. I'm 1 minute over, but just the same. Happy to answer any questions. And there's way more stuff on happiness that I could talk for days. But hopefully this is sort of a quick overview of the kinds of things that's involved. And if this is interesting, then I or other people could, come and work at your company and try and help. Sometimes you just have to be told the obvious. Happy to do that. Because it's important. There's no reason to be miserable. We should be happy. Because we do good work. Anyway, that's that. Any questions on anything? It will come to you. I'm going to hang around for the after party. So, just sort of, by the way, you were saying something about, and, we'll tap beers and we'll talk. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.